always have to think about it. Like, we're literally not here every single Wednesday.
I know.
How's everybody doing? Welcome back. It's me and Lauren today. I feel like we haven't been on a live stream on the channel. We've only done master classes together.
Yes.
Like in the last couple months. So
yes.
I'm glad that we get to do one today, though.
I know. And it's a good one, y'all. This is a great sublimation project that we're going to be doing today.
Yes.
And really, I say sublimation. This project, we are going to be doing sublimation. However, this is something that Alicia wanted to bring you guys to really highlight how large you can do print and cut now.
It's gigantic.
If you all are, if you know about sublimation, if you are familiar with it, you know that you don't have to do print and cut with sublimation. However, we were planning on doing this with the large Caesar DTV. It just didn't come in. So we are doing it with sublimation, but this can be done with the larger format printable HTV or the Caesar DTV specifically.
Yeah, and I don't know how many brands are coming out with the large format printable DTV, but Patrick over at Caesar had let us know that they were doing the big size. We just haven't received it yet. So I was like, if we get it, we'll use it. But we haven't got it yet. So I was like, we can still do sublimation and show you all how big. I mean, just to really see it like in person. Yes. When I first printed it off, I was like, I mean, we're printing this off on a 13 by 19 sheet of paper.
Right.
We're not, like, it doesn't go that big in Cricut Design Space. It only goes to like 11 by 17. But we're gonna do the full sheet. Like, it's gonna be as big as we can possibly get it to fit on a sweatshirt. So it's gonna be really exciting. And we haven't done a sublimation project in like 1,000 years.
I know.
I can't even think of the last one that we've done live stream. We just kind of like, we're doing them because there was a lot of sublimation hype for a long time.
Yes.
And then it kind of fizzled out. But like, I still am very passionate about sublimation. I think it's a really cool process.
100%. Like, still love sublimation. And we're actually going to be using one of the newer sublimation printers for those that have our sublimation course or want our sublimation course. I will have Sadie drop the link for our we have a sublimation course teaching you all how to sublimate from start to finish, how to set up your printer, all of this stuff you all are going to learn in that course. If you purchase that, it is $70 off. But sublimation is one of those projects that is it's a huge seller.
Yes,
it's a really big seller. If you are wanting to start selling your crafts and you want to jump into selling crafts, obviously there's a lot of ways you can make money with your Cricut, but sublimation is a very high seller.
I agree with that. And because not only can you make shirts, but you can do, I mean, you could sublimate wood, you can do tumblers. Like, there's just so many different things. License plates, mouse pads. It's just very broad. And so it's kind of like its own realm of crafting.
Oh, it is, for sure.
Like, even outside of Cricut crafting, there's like there's sublimators. I call them sublimators, but that's what they do. There's people who sublimate the crap out of everything. And so anyways, if you're wanting to make a little money on your crafts, on your side hustle, sublimation is honestly like a good way to go.
It is a great way to go.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just want to make a little extra money, make a little extra cash, like side hustle. Speaking of that, we are now in our, I guess you could call it pre-phase. Tanner is going to be doing a webinar. He's actually going to be doing 4 different times. So let me double check the calendar really quick, because I'm pretty sure it is I'm in June. Give me 2 seconds. I don't want to give you the wrong dates. So we're looking at April. Where'd it go?
Is that the first day?
No. I'm pretty sure it's April the 22nd and 23rd, and then the 25th and 26th.
Yes.
That's it. That's the time.
That feels right to me.
Those are the dates that...
We talked about them like 15 times. I don't know.
I know. We had a content meeting earlier today, and we talked about them like 3, 4, 5 different times. And, okay, here they are. April the 22nd at 12 p.m. Eastern. April the 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern. April the 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Or April the 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And this is not that you don't have to attend all 4 of those webinars. This is just, he is offering the same webinar 4 times so that you all have the opportunity to pick which time works best for your schedule.
Yes.
So all you have to do is click the link that is pinned above, reserve your spots. This is Tanner's like amazing 5 secrets, where he is teaching you his 5 secrets that he used to start selling his crafts. So if you are on the fence and you want to start selling your crafts, definitely sign up for that webinar, because I'm telling you, it is amazing.
And not only that, but it's free. So if you are just, you know, feeling like I'm unsure, like I haven't really been motivated, this is going to be a really good way for you all to kind of get your toes wet. And also, Tanner's a very inspirational type of person. Like, you can have one conversation with him in the middle of the day after lunch, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go break down some walls in my house. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he just is very encouraging. And so if you are just feeling like, oh, I'm not really into that, like, it's free. And there's a time slot for all different times of the day. So if you're a night shift person and you're like, I can't, we have, you know, an 8 p.m.
Yep.
So don't feel like you're limited by like time slots and things like that. We've got it over 4 days, 4 different time slots, which is really nice.
Yeah. So all you have to do is sign up for that. Like she said, it's free, and it is pinned. The comment is pinned. So do we have?
Exciting.
I've been trying to look to see if anybody has had any questions so far.
I don't know.
And Shirley did say, I have the course, the Sublimation course, and just now heard that y'all have more files in it. Yes, we did add more files. I know Tanner said when we first launched this course, he was like, I'm not adding more files. We're not doing this. And he did add more exclusive files when we did the update back in March. So, yes.
Was that March already? Was it last March?
No, last March, not this March.
I know, but I was thinking has been sooner that we've updated that.
Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't March. Maybe it was like...
It feels very...
Maybe it was in the fall.
Yeah. The Sublimation course, I feel like we just recently updated it.
We did just recently update it, and it was the fall, y'all.
Because Lauren had to format this printer.
Yes.
So let me go over here. We'll go ahead and get started. There's a lot of stuff going on over here. Hello. This heat press is over here. I've already got it heating up. But it looks like we've kind of got a lot going on. And that's because we're using our Cricut. We are sublimating, and we need a sublimation printer in here. So, you know, if you get into sublimation, I feel like the tools that you use are just gigantic. They kind of take up, they take up space. You got a heat press, you got a printer. And normally, we've been using this Epson EcoTank. This is the 8550. Normally we use the Workforce, and I would argue that the Workforce printer is like much bigger. It's at least taller.
So, but the only thing with the Workforce printer that we have run into issues with is because it does take cartridges. It's a lot harder to refill those ink cartridges, and there's like, it runs the risk of firmware updating and not recognizing your cartridges and all this stuff. So we really, really enjoyed the EcoTank in general, whether it's the smaller EcoTank or the larger EcoTank.
Yes, so the Workforce printer, that's what we've kind of worked with forever, and you'll hear us talk about it and use it in past projects. We had one that kind of kicked the bucket. If you have converted your Epson Workforce and it asks you to update your firmware, just don't. Don't do it, because what happens is you update your firmware and then it doesn't recognize your ink cartridges. And so I didn't know that until I updated our firmware. I thought that maybe that's what's wrong. And so I did it, and then it doesn't recognize my cartridges, and then it voids your warranty. So, converting it could really void your warranty anyways. So I don't really know why that would matter. But this one, this is like our little upgrade. Not only is it an upgrade, but it is a cheaper printer. So this one, I want to say it runs about $800.
Was it that expensive?
Yes, but that was full price on Office Max, from Office Max. So, and y'all know with inflation, like, printers are so expensive because no one's wanting to make them. Do you remember when printers were like not that expensive?
Yeah, but so the one thing that I do want to say is if $800 is not in your price range right now, if you want to get into sublimation, don't let just because you can't afford the biggest one, because like I said, this prints.
This is a wide format.
This prints 13 by 19.
Yeah.
So yes, it's nice to have that area to cover, but I have done a lot of projects where I piece together sublimation stuff, and it still works.
Yeah. So this is just like the Mac Daddy, but don't feel like this is the one you have to get. So you can get, there's smaller options available. And if you are interested after today and we do this craft with you and you're like, oh my gosh, sublimation seems so cool, and you do decide to take the sublimation course, we actually go through all the printers and like what printers work for who, and we help you decide what printer you need for yourself personally. So I think that that's really cool. But outside of that, let me kind of go over everything that you're going to need today. So if we can go overhead, I have our sweater that we're going to be using. So this is a Gildan heavy blend adult crew neck sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, we did zoom it in.
Hold on, tell me. I'm zooming you guys out. Is it zooming out?
No, it's the top one.
Okay. Am I zooming out now? Hold on, you guys.
Hold on.
Is it zoomed out now?
I would zoom out a little.
Okay. It's just hard for me to reach.
Yeah, there you go.
Oops, I moved the camera. Is it crooked? Okay. I can barely reach up there. It's like right out of my finger grip. Okay. So this is the sweatshirt that we're going to be sublimating on. Now, this is the Gildan Heavy Blend Adult Crew Neck Sweatshirt. It's a 50-50 blend. I would recommend a 60 or greater personally, but you can sublimate on a 50-50 blend. And yeah, this is 50% polyester, 50% cotton. So the higher the polyester content, the brighter and more vibrant your sublimation ink is going to show up whenever you go to sublimate. So this is 50%. Also, I find if you have a lower polyester content, when you go to wash it, it kind of fades your colors a little bit. Have you noticed that before?
It does, because it doesn't have enough, it doesn't have as many synthetic fibers for that ink to hold on to. So it will, if you do, just be aware, if you sublimate on a 50-50 or less, it will look fine when you sublimate it. It will look
It'll
okay.
be bright, yeah. It won't be as
But then when you
great,
go to wash, it will have more of a vintage look.
Yes, it's like more of a washed look.
It's more of a vintage. So that's just putting that out there.
Yeah, but this one you can purchase at Hobby Lobby, so that it's kind of nice because I could just go snag these up at Hobby Lobby if I need to. I did purchase some, like I think they were 100% polyester sweatshirts off of Amazon, and they were just like not it for me. They looked purple, like you know when something's so white and it looks bleachy.
It kind of gives it a UV look.
Yes, and a lot of times when you use 100% polyester items, they have a weird feel sometimes, and they are like super vibrant white. So I even like the washed look with this design today. I think it looks really cute, so I'm not mad about it. I'm gonna use a 50-50 mix, but I do recommend a little bit higher of a polyester percentage whenever you're shopping around for sublimation blanks. You cannot just go and buy a white sweatshirt and assume that you can sublimate on it. It has to have polyester in it in order for that sublimation ink to cling to the polyester fibers. So the polymers, if you will. So I've got the sweatshirt. I have our 13 by 19 paper here. This is what we're gonna be printing on today, and we are gonna fill this baby up as big as we can in order for our Cricut to be able to cut it. And then I have excuse the footprint, first of all. You guys see this, Matt? Can you see?
Let me see the footprint. Oh, I'm trying to think of whose shoe that is.
I don't know. There's no telling, but there's footprints, like one big footprint on here and maybe another one. But you know, it's a light grip 12 by 24 mat. That's what you're going to want to use because we are cutting paper. And then I have a t-shirt guide. If you got on any of our deals, we had these little t-shirt guides in our swag bags. I've got a burnishing tool. This is great for sublimation. So this is what we use to get any extra lint on our shirts off before we actually apply heat so it doesn't discolor our shirts. I have some heat tape, a measuring tape, and then I've obviously got our clamshell heat press. Now, if you've got a regular like Cricut Easy Press, I'm gonna say I don't know. Have you sublimated with a big heat press before? Like a manual one?
I have.
I've done it once or twice, but I just...
So when I first started here, we did a blanket. It was a blanket full of pictures. So I think we only printed on the 8.5 by 11, and so
Papers.
we used we had a bunch of different pictures, and that was an instance where I found that the Easy Press worked better than the clamshell press, because I would have the pictures like laying flat on the floor, but then to pick up the pictures where I had placed them and put them in the clamshell with that big blanket didn't work.
Because you're gonna be like moving the blanket,
because I'm moving the
and like,
so I can just place the pictures on the floor and then come in with the press. But with that being said, you know, 9.5 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, like you're gonna use a heat press over
like a mini press. You're not going to want to use a mini press for this. If you get into sublimation, you're going to want to invest in a really good heat press. And this clamshell press is something that we use for almost all of our sublimation projects. There's a few exceptions, obviously, like the blanket and things like that, where it's pieced together. But this is the StarCraft heat press, and I linked an alternative heat press for you all that is much cheaper. This is a very high end. This is probably like the highest end of a crafter's heat press that you could get.
But really and truly, we've used the other ones, and I mean, they work pretty much the same.
It's a heat source. If it can get as hot as you need it, if it can get to 375, like your gravy. So, and this one works really good for us. It's also a beautiful Tiffany blue. I love it. So I've got that. I've got the butcher's paper ready to go. And then we have the files. If they are not linked down below for you all yet, they will be on the website at some point today. We just had these designed specifically for this project because we were like, this is so cute. We have to do something like this for Mother's Day. I can't believe that Mother's Day is coming up.
I know.
I'm trying to think of what day is Mother's Day? It's May something. May something. So anyways, let's go back on to Design Space. I'm going to go back. I was running some test prints earlier. Did I not bring our finished sweatshirt in here to show you guys in real life? It may be sitting right over there. So this is the image that we're working with today. Is this not the cutest ever? I am just like so obsessed with this image. It's so freaking cute. I am gonna zoom out because we're gonna pull this into Design Space. Thank you. Okay, let's go overhead. I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like. Okay, so you just saw on the share screen what it looks like kind of in Design Space. So the colors are a little bit different, and that's because this is a 50-50 blend. So this is what we mean when we say you get more of a washed or like vintage look. You can tell it's a little bit more faded, but like still beautiful and perfect, I think. And then we've got the little hearts on the sleeve right here. Is that not so cute?
I know, I love this. And one thing that I want to let you guys know is it's in the works, right? Or did Mark get them uploaded?
I just let them know that they'll be uploaded.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I wasn't listening.
That's okay. Yeah, they should be uploaded. Then maybe partially uploaded right now. I saw one heart on the website before I came in here, but they'll be uploaded at some point today. And y'all, it's not just Mama.
That's what I was fixing to say. It's not just Mama.
I requested that we have like Granny. I have my Ruby, her grandmother is Grams. So we've got Gigi, Nani. I mean, I think there's probably like 10 or 12. There's Granny, Grammy. I mean, all of the above. I tried to list as many as I possibly could. If I missed yours, I'm so sorry. Also, if I missed it after we upload the files, y'all let me know, especially if you're going to make it, because I want you to be able to have the one that you need. So anyways, let's go back into Design Space. So I'm going to go find this file in my uploads. Obviously, you all are going to have to get the file off of the website once it's updated. And we're just gonna scroll down here, look at little Asher. I'm gonna add this to the canvas and then add my hearts to the canvas. We've got Mimi, Nanny, I believe. I wanna say we have a Nani, Erica, I hope. Meemaw, Sin, I don't know if we did a Meemaw. I can't remember them all, I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna delete these old ones because we don't need them. Delete, delete, and I'm gonna delete any of these layers that we're not using. I had pulled up my old file, so. Okay, so whenever you pull these in, she's also made, our designer, she separated all these hearts, so you'll be able to download each individual heart color. You don't have to download the one with all 4 of them in it. But for the sake of today's video, we're gonna kind of slice these away from each other. So let's just start there and kind of get all the parts that we need to work with. So we're only gonna be using 2 hearts. You can use whatever color that you want. I'm just gonna take a basic shape, just a circle, and I'm going to hover over top of my heart shape. And y'all, this is why I still love having the slice feature, because you can't use any of those new combined features to do this because it would get rid of all your other little hearts. Like if I wanted to do exclude or something, I couldn't do it because it would get rid of all my hearts. And I need them to just be separated from each other. So I'm going to select both layers and I'm gonna delete any of the layers that I do not currently need. So you can see we've got this little heart, but these 3 are still connected. And so now I'm just gonna go grab another circle and we're gonna slice off whatever other color we want. So you're just gonna pull that circle over top of it and then you're gonna select both layers and then hit slice and delete all of the layers that you do not want.
I love these letters so much, and we've had so many people that have asked us for different, very specific names.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should talk to our designer and see if we can get like an actual alphabet.
Oh, that'd be cute.
With these similar.
And so they can make
so
whatever.
they can make their own.
Yeah, that's a great idea. See, this is why we want y'all to tell us what you want, you know? That's a good idea. We should definitely do that. Okay, so I've got my little hearts. Let's go ahead and resize our hearts while we're working on it. And what I like to do before I resize them in Design Space, I want to make sure that they are the correct size for where they're going on my sweatshirt. So these are going to be going on the sleeve, but I don't want them to be gigantic, okay? Like I want them to be a good size where mama can read them or Grammy can read them, but they don't need to be like 5 inches wide. You know what I'm saying? We don't want them to be that big. So, I mean, if you do, listen, it's your sweatshirt. You can do what you want. But I'm thinking like 3 inches. So it's just about that big, okay? So back in Design Space, I'm going to select one, and then up here, I'm just going to change the width to 3 inches. Make sure that your shape is locked so you don't lose the heart shape, otherwise it's going to warp everything. And then I'm going to select the other one, and we're going to change that to 3 as well. Is everybody with me? Good? Okay, let's zoom into our hearts. Let me zoom in one more time. Okay, now we need to add the names that we want to these fonts. So let's do Blair and Wade because I messed up this first sweatshirt, and I'm going to show you guys what I did here in a second when we go to press it. I'm going to tell you what not to do. Don't be like me. I'm going to type in Blair. And she's named after
Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl. Any Gossip Girl fans? Tabitha named her daughter Blair after Blair Waldorf. I don't watch Gossip Girl.
I've
Do you
never
watch
watched it either.
My mom got really into it for like ever, and I just never watched it. Oh, what is the name of this font? Not Amaryllis. What did I link? Will you look?
Yeah.
I thought it was Amaryllis in my brain.
Hold on.
It's an A font. Please hold.
Please hold.
Blair and Wade are Tabitha's kids. Wade is her baby. So, and Blair is her toddler. And so.
Oh, no, that's not it. I don't know.
Is it in the YouTube description?
I'm looking. I see like all these cut files, but I don't see a font.
It's an A font.
Go to the other ones, or did you already delete them out?
It's Amber Light. Don't mind me.
Okay.
I call Amber Light Amaryllis all the time. So the font is Amber Light that we're using today. And so whenever you guys use this font, a lot of times it is not kerned. And so what you're going to need to do whenever you type this out, please, for the love, don't leave it like this, okay? Whenever you do this project and you go to make it, just hear me in your ear saying, don't leave spaces.
Your font.
Kern your letters.
Kern your letters. Make them touch.
Make your letters touch or else. Okay, and so you can manually just kind of hit this down arrow on the letter space, but what I like to do is go to Advanced and Ungroup to Letters. And so you can select the portion of letters that you want to touch and kind of move them around that way. So I'm just using the arrows on my keyboard to manually move each individual letter or set of letters, just like so. And most of our fonts are not like this. This Amber Light, honestly, is like the only one I can even think of that does this. And it's an older font, but an oldie but a goodie. And we use it for everything because it's such a cute handwritten font.
Yes.
It's very much our style, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so once you get it where you want, you're gonna need to select it all. And I like to unite it. So it's like one little unit. You can also attach it. It's gonna do the same thing. And whenever you pull a text into Design Space, it's gray. I don't want it to be gray. I want it to be black like the outlines of my heart. So I'm going to change it to black. It doesn't look like that much, but it matches a lot better if you adjust that, just that little thing. It's all in details, you know? And then I'm just gonna shrink it to fit within our heart, like so, okay? Cutesy.
Love it.
Cutesy. Okay, and then we're gonna do Wade. So just make a new text box, W-A-D-E. Let's Advanced and Ungroup to Letters. And that A doesn't have to touch the W, but I am gonna scooch it a little bit closer. You can also just click these letters and move them around. Cute.
Cute.
Cute, cute. We're gonna combine it and hit Unite, and then we will change this to black. And then we can resize it and put it right inside our little heart. So cute. Y'all, Tab's only got 8 weeks left. Y'all don't
know.
Tabitha, you know what I was thinking? Tabitha did a live with me. Like, way back, like a few months ago. She's only been on one live ever. If you get an email, it's from Tabitha. She does all of our emails. But she's in the office sometimes. Okay, so I've got the names on here, but they are, what you're gonna do is make sure that they're exactly where you want them first. And I'm gonna click and drag and make sure that the name and the heart are selected. And then we're going to flatten them together. This is gonna make them a cohesive print and cut image. And so you can see in our layers panel, the name, I don't know if y'all can see from that far, but there's like the name and the heart and it's all on one layer. And so this is gonna allow our Cricut to know that it doesn't need to cut out the name separately from the heart. It just thinks it needs to cut around the heart. And I also do not want this to cut right up next to the heart, so I am gonna add a slight offset in white, so we won't even be able to see it. But I do want it to cut with like, I don't know, like a 1/4 inch allowance all the way around. So make sure you have your flattened image selected, and we're gonna add a small offset, like a 0.15 offset. And I'm gonna hit apply, and we're gonna change that to white. Okay, and then you can click and drag and select the offset layer as well as the print and cut layer, and we're gonna flatten that. And so this is gonna just cut where the offset was. Does that make sense to everybody?
Now this is gonna be really, really important. That step is gonna be very important if you do this with printable HTV.
Yes.
It doesn't matter as much with sublimation, but it's very, very important if you're doing it with printable HTV.
Yes. And yeah, we're gonna do an extra large printable HTV video because it is a little bit different in this way. Like this is a perfect time where it's gonna be completely different too. So we'll try to get that prepared for you guys. As soon as that stuff comes in, we're making a video because I've been wanting to do a big printable DTV video. So again, let's do it with the Blair heart. So we're gonna select both layers. So the name and the heart layer, you're gonna flatten it. So it's one layer. We're gonna add an offset, just a 0.15 offset. Hit apply. I'm gonna change it to white. You can't see it. Make sure you select both layers, both the offset and the print and cut layer, and then we're gonna flatten that again. And so it's not gonna cut right up on our heart. it's going to cut a 0.15 inches away from our heart. And so you can even see when I pull that behind there, that little white, and I can change the canvas. Let me change the canvas color to like this light gray. So it's going to cut that white part, okay? So let's zoom out. Now that we've got that, we're good to go. Those are fine. We're just going to kind of leave them over here to the side. And now we can work on the mama part. So let's go back overhead and we're going to measure our sweatshirt. Make sure that we get it as big or as small as we want it. We want it big though, because I want to print this really big. I don't know why it's so exciting for me to print such gigantic things, but it's just fun. When we first did it, I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. Okay, so can y'all see that pretty good? Okay. And so I like, when I'm doing big sweatshirts like this, I try not to go further than the mid region of the shoulders. So like, I don't want to go out this wide. I want to kind of live no wider than the mid distance of the shoulders, if that makes sense. And so when I'm going to measure where I want it, I don't want to go, like I want to make this as big as I possibly can. And I feel like 13, like 12 and a half or 13 is about as wide as I want to go. Now, if you started going like 16, no, it's going to be way too wide. And when they wear it, you're not going to be able to see it as well. So I'm thinking 12 and a half or 13 wide. So let's go back into Design Space. And you can see right now it's on 16. So let's just adjust this to 12.5. And look, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. If your image is not locked, it's going to warp your image. So let me undo it so y'all can see what it did look like. Okay. Do not, just make sure that your image is locked. So right now, if I go to change this to 12 and a half, it's locked now. That's weird. It locked itself. I've never seen it do that before. Anyways, just make sure that this little lock button is locked and it doesn't look like this when you're going to resize your image. It needs to look like that when you go to resize. So now that we've done that, what I'm going to do next is add an offset to this. So I want it to cut all the way around everything. I do not want it to cut out the individual letters. I just want it to cut out around the entire thing. So I'm going to go up to our offset, and you can see in the preview that there are small gaps in between here. It's okay if we have a few little gaps, but I think I want to make this a little bit bigger so there's less. And then we can contour out any gaps that we really don't need. Let's do 0.35 and see what happens. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to change this to white. Okay, now I want to kind of get rid of these little gaps in here. I just don't need it. Like, I don't need it to cut that portion. So I'm going to go to my offset. Just select the offset layer in your layers panel. We're going to go up here to operation and change it to the basic cut function. Okay, y'all with me? And then we're going to go back down to contour, and we're going to hide all contours. And so now it's just a solid outline of everything. And I want to change it back to white just so you guys can still have the visual. But it's only going to cut all the way around all of this, and it's not going to get up in here and try to cut all that. Like, we don't need any unnecessary cuts, because I want this to be a really like solid piece of paper, if that makes sense. And so I'm just going to select both layers and flatten those. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? Nope. No? Carol says, since the Design Space update, it seems to keep whatever action you did last the same, even when you select a different object on the canvas. Yeah. Also, that reminded me of something, Carol. So earlier, I was just kind of running through what we were going to be doing today, and I was like, why is it not letting me select the larger paper size? You all have to be in the beta version to do the large format print and cut. I don't know when they're going to take it out of the beta version, because I feel like they've had this update for what, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks or more.
I feel like it's been a while.
I feel like it has been too. And so I thought, oh, it's surely on the regular live version. So if you're trying to complete this project and you're like, it doesn't give me the large format page options, make sure that you all are making this project in the the beta version. So what you're gonna need to do to get there is go to these 3 lines on the top left, just click on that, and then you're gonna go to settings. And so you can see right here, application experience, beta or live, click on beta, and then hit done. And then it's gonna restart Cricut Design Space. So
what are the dimensions of the new biggest print and cut?
How big does it do it? 11 by 17.
Okay.
Why?
Because I'm in the live version.
Okay, and it's letting you?
It seems to be.
So
No.
it's not gonna let you.
Wait, hold on. Or change paper size.
Okay.
It only gives me A4 letter.
Yep.
So you are right.
Yep, you've got to be in the beta version.
You have to be in beta.
So I'm sure that'll go away soon, but if you're trying to do it and you're like, it doesn't let me do it that big, it's giving me an error, make sure you're in the beta version first. Okay, we've got everything. She's cute, she's gorgeous. Now we get to print. I'm so excited. So what we're gonna do next is go to make it. Yes, Renee, make sure you save your work before you switch and restart. So if you need to switch to the beta version, save your project and then switch, because it will update Cricut Design Space. Okay, guys, so this is the new print and cut area, first of all.
What?
It's gigantic. There's so much room for activities. There's so much room. And so what's really nice is that I have so much room to move this around. So normally the bounding box was all the way around here, so you couldn't even butt it up to the edges. Well, Cricut got smart and realized they just need registration marks in the corners. Who would have thunk it? And so that's what they've done here. So I can move this around wherever I want. And what's also gonna be really nice is I can take these hearts over here and I can move them to my other sheet. And so we really don't have to waste a whole nother sheet of paper just for these 2 little hearts. So if you want to do that, you just need to click on the image, select the 3 dots, and we're going to move the object. And I'm going to select this one so that we can put all of this stuff on here together. I am going to remember that there is an offset all the way around this, so make sure that you're not pulling it in and buttoning it up right here, because you may run into accidentally cutting through your heart. So I'm going to kind of space them out. I wish you could change the color of the print and cut background just so you could see it, but it is what it is. And then I'm going to move this one to the other one as well. And if you need to, you can even like rotate them to fit whatever you need to do to make it work. Okay, cute, right? Does anybody have questions about that part? Anybody?
We did have a couple people ask us about maybe show them, well, we can do it after you print. They show them one more time how to go to the beta version.
Oh, yeah.
And then Tina said that she changed hers to the beta version, but still could not recognize my larger size. Try going, Tina, from the, if you are still in beta, try going back to live and then back to beta again.
Yes.
Also, I want to shout out Tina and congratulate her. I saw her post in our Facebook yesterday on her adoption. Congratulations, Tina. I'm so excited for you.
That little baby, she's an angel. She's so cute. She's so cute. That's so exciting. And her name's Marley. That's so cute. Okay. So we're not completely done because we are sublimating. We need to make sure that everything that we're printing is a mirrored image. And so right now it's not. So what I'm going to do is select mirror over here on the left, and that went ahead and mirrored everything. It just kind of flipped it backwards for me. So also you can go here to select your different material sizes. I'm just using the biggest as possible. We are printing on technically we're printing on a 13 by 19 sheet, but it's going to print as if it were like 11 by 17. Hopefully that doesn't confuse anybody. So everything's mirrored. You have to mirror your images if you're sublimating, because you print it mirrored and then you lay it down onto the sweatshirt or whatever you're sublimating on, and then it goes to the correct direction, if that makes sense. And so all you're going to need to do next is select continue, and we are going to send to printer. We're using the Epson ET 8550, and I do not need a bleed on this project. The only time I would need a bleed on anything is if I need my color to go all the way to the edges, and we do not want that here. So I'm gonna turn the bleed off. We're gonna use our system dialog. I'm in such a habit of doing this, regardless of if I'm doing sublimation or anything. I always print from system dialog because you can adjust the settings. And so I'm gonna hit print and it's gonna load. If you're using a Mac, a lot of times the dialog box will pop up behind a Cricut Design Space. So you may be sitting here like, what the heck? It's loading, like where is it? Pull down Cricut Design Space and there it is. And so now we're gonna feed this from the rear tray, and we're gonna select best quality, always. Rear tray, best quality, it's like good as gold.
Yes.
And so now, where's my paper? Where's my paper? I'm going to plug this in. I don't know why I have so many sheets here.
So while she's putting that paper in, we had a friend ask if my shirt was another color and I don't want a white background around it, can that be done? So Janet, yes, if you are using printable HTV, you can do it that way, but today we're doing sublimation, so the white background really doesn't even matter.
No.
Like you could just take this piece of paper and flip it over and sublimate on it. We're just showing you how the Cricut does a larger print and cut.
Right, right.
And then...
it doesn't print white ink, like we don't see anything.
Right, and also if you are doing sublimation on if you're doing sublimation, a colored shirt or a colored medium, whatever colored textiles don't really work well together. If you do colored shirt, then you have to bleach it to see that color really come through.
Yes.
The only time you could really see it is if you use a light colored shirt with black ink.
Yeah, that's when you get the best results. I don't like to sublimate on colors. I just try to stick to my whites.
Yeah.
But okay, so I've got my printer in the rear tray. I'm gonna go ahead and select print, and let me make sure it's picking up what I'm putting down up here. It sounds like its brain's going, so let's hope. Does anyone have questions up until this point? I know we kind of I went through a lot of different things.
We did have somebody ask if you were able to save the file as an SVG and export it from Cricut. No, Cricut does not allow you to do that. Cricut does not allow you to export a file and save it as an SVG.
No, I don't think Cricut will ever allow that.
The only other design softwares as far as like die cutting is Silhouette Studio will allow you to do that, but only in the business version.
Yeah. Now, if you want to make your own files, you can do that, and you can export them from lots of different design softwares. But
Yes.
die cutting softwares, or die cutting software like Design Space, you cannot export your images, which
Yes.
stinks. But that's what we're for. We have all the files you need.
I know.
Okay, while that's printing, I'm just gonna take this lint roller, and I wanna get off any linty bits off of this that I can. And I will say these Gildan sweatshirts are bad for having like lots of little lint, and I can't always get all of it, which I hate, but I try to get as much as I can. Because whenever we go to sublimate, if you've got little pieces of lint all over, it turns them to these like little blue fuzzies, and they're so annoying, and they'll be all over your all over your piece. So I'm gonna try to avoid that at all costs. So just lint roll that really good, and then let's just see here. Okay, this is our image. So pretty cool, right? It looks a little bit light, but often, not often, every time, when you print with sublimation ink, it looks a lot lighter on the paper, and then when you sublimate it, the colors darken up. So you can see, like, this is the finished one that we did, and you can see there's quite a bit of difference. And so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sit my sweatshirt to the side for a minute. There we go. And then I'm going to line this up. I know that you guys can't see everything I'm doing, but I'm trying to make sure that we're in view here. So I'm just gonna line this up as well as I can. Okay. Make sure, and then, so there's gonna be some excess paper. I'm just gonna take a true control knife or like an X-Acto knife and trim all of that off so it doesn't get caught up in our Cricut. Okay, make sure you're not cutting over those registration boxes. The Cricut needs those to read as it cuts. So we're just gonna do it like that. I'm gonna take my burnishing tool. I should have brought the brayer in here. Oh, I have it. Okay, a brayer is really good for this because you don't wanna scrape over the sublimation ink. This brayer is just gonna kind of roll right over top of everything and make sure that your paper is gonna stay stuck down really well. Okay, now, if you sublimate already and you're like, why in the world are they cutting this with a Cricut? For the sake of cutting it this big, and honestly, it's kind of satisfying to have a really neat cutout of whatever you're doing, because normally, like when we sublimate, we would just rip our design out of the paper. So it's kind of cool to do it, you know, with the Cricut. So, and like we were saying earlier, this would be a really good printable DTV project as well. So I'm just gonna slide this in. Okay, and let's go back into Design Space. And we need to set our base material. Oops. So this is just like, you could do like a copy paper. Let's type in paper. You can see there's a lot. This is a pretty thin paper. We'll just do like a 20-pound copy paper and then hit done. And we're just using a fine point blade today. Okay, so it's gonna measure our mat all the way. Ripping is therapy, Tina says. It can be, yeah, it really can be.
And we have, let's see, there was a couple little things. Beatrice wants to know what kind of sublimation paper that we use. We normally use A-Sub. Is this one A-Sub or is this one different?
This is Koala, so this is like a different brand. I've used it a few times. This is Koala Premier Digital Paper. I probably linked A-Sub for you all though because I love A-Sub.
Yes.
And that's our favorite. But this one's not bad. This one feels different. It feels thinner than A-Sub paper, but it worked fine. That's what I sublimated the first one with, and it was totally fine. So
yes,
we're just gonna, I thought, I'm not gonna change it up, we'll just use it. Oh no, why is it saying that? So it's saying it can't read my print then cut marks. I'm gonna try to do it again. Hold on, it's loading. The machine's doing something super sketch over here, like the lights were going off weird. Let's just try to recut it. I'm gonna set it as paper.
I wonder if it's because the ink is light.
It's very possible. But you could see the black just fine. I didn't have any issues before. Okay, let's hit play. We shall see. And you know, also I'll say we're using Design Space in the beta version. The beta version is not the best version. So it may have extra features because it's like trial features, but a lot of times they don't work. Hold on, I'm just watching what it's doing. A lot of times they don't work as well as when they're like fully a live version of something. So it could simply be that. Well, heck. I wonder, since it's not working, let's try something. Let's try to troubleshoot a little bit. So can y'all see like kind of how this is set to the side? I didn't want to trim my left side because I wanted it to line up as perfectly as it would. What would you think if I trimmed this left side and adjust and then moved it over a little bit? Should we try it? Because if it doesn't work, we can always cut this out by hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering if it's because we're in the beta version that it's not working. Can y'all see what I'm doing? I'm gonna trim this left side and I'm just gonna line this up to the top left corner. We're going rogue, everybody. That was like the straightest cut I've ever made in my life. Well, it wasn't that straight, but just Sadie's laughing at me. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up and move it over to the left. So I always like to line my print and cuts up as accurately as possible. That's why I didn't want to cut my top left edge, but you know what? We're winging it because it's not gonna read it anyways. I'm gonna line this up and then we can take our brayer. Okay, let's try it. Uno más. One more. Okay. And let me set my base material to copy paper again. All right. It's going to read the registration marks and then it'll have us hit go. Mine did the same thing a few days ago. I just saved my project and then it read it the next time I tried it. How strange. Were you in the beta version, Carol? I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it. Okay, let's see if it works this time. Everybody cross your fingers, hold your breath. JST Country Girl, mine does this constantly. I use a flashlight on the sensor and it works perfectly. You hold a flashlight on the sensor. Huh. I love it. I feel like it's already doing more than it did. Is that just me?
It is.
Okay. We're figuring it out, people. This is real life stuff. The first time that I did this, I just printed it, put it on there, trimmed the right edge, and it was like, oh, okay, got it. This time it's like, no, you're on a live stream. Why would I work correctly? Sweet baby Jesus. It's working. It's a Christmas miracle.
Chrysler miracle.
I really did not think it was going to work. I was like, well, I'm going to have to cut this out by hand. Okay, so it worked, you guys. So make sure, I think that registration border needs to be as close to that top left edge as it possibly can. It's going to read the registration box and know where to cut. So the fact that I cut that off, that left side off, doesn't really affect anything. So that's kind of nice. Oh yeah, this is good, this is good. So while that's cutting, I'm gonna go ahead and put some butcher paper down on the bottom. Maybe. Okie dokie. Now, let's pull this out. So whenever you're pulling paper off of your mat, we like to go with gravity. So I'm gonna flip my mat over this way, and I'm just gonna pop these off. I just don't want them to curl up a lot. That way it lays flat on my shirt. Okay, and then we've got our little layer. Y'all, look how much we used, almost all that whole sheet.
That's crazy.
I love it. Okay, so we've got all of our little pieces here. So cute. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and lay my sweatshirt out. I'm running out of space, everybody. I'll sit that there. Okay, so just lay this out as flat and straight as you possibly can, and go ahead and grab your t-shirt ruler. Okay, I'm gonna line this up with the center of my shirt, just like that at the collar. And we're gonna press the mama part. So I'm gonna line my mama up with the bottom of that t-shirt guide. And then this will kind of be, actually, Lauren, do you feel like that's too high up, like from your view? If is
my stuff must be
it's delayed
because you're not putting it. It's not on there yet.
I feel like I should come down a hair.
So you were gonna add? You put the mama up there next to it? Oh yeah, that's too high.
Right. That's well. So I had it up here, and I feel like that's way too high. So I'm feeling like that looks good. Let's take that off and see. Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
so
like that.
You're still a taper.
I'm what?
You still tape?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Lauren's not a taper. That's what she's calling me, a taper, because I tape my design down. Lauren uses our Condi spray. Is it Condi?
Yeah.
I've never used it. I'm admitting that right now. I'm just old school, you know what I'm saying? But the Condi spray is really good. So what we're talking about is a spray, and you spray it on the front of the sublimation. So we would spray it on the front where the ink is, and then you can stick it to your piece, like your shirt, your blank, whatever, and it like adheres your sublimation paper down, but then it doesn't allow the paper to stick even after it's pressed under the heat. I'll do it on the hearts.
No.
I haven't used it. I should use it.
I would rather you tape the hearts.
Would you? So you think bigger areas are better for the spray? Just because it's not going to be able to lift or anything like that. Like if it's sticky, it's not going to lift. Well.
But I mean, the press, that's what the press is for too.
Right, the press does that part. But it does help when you're like transitioning from here to here. Okay. Now, so I've got my butcher paper down. I've got everything taped down. I want y'all to know, when I first started sublimating, I would have taped the dickens out of this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have? I mean, I would tape everything. I was like, no edge left untaped. I would never do that. Okay, and then get another piece. Okay. We're gonna lay this right on top. Make sure your design is completely in the press and it's not sitting on the edges. Watch this because it's very hot. We're gonna press this for 60 seconds. Firm pressure.
Yep.
All right, any questions? Glenda's a proud taper. See, preach it, Glenda. No, the Condi spray is really good. Let me grab it. Show you guys.
Carol did have a question. A friend asked me the other day if pre-pressing the shirt would cause the print to start the transfer process when you are placing/taping. I don't think it will, because when you pre-press, it's just to pretty much get the wrinkles out of it. And you're not going to place your design while it's still hot. Plus, it's not going to be hot enough to even start the process of transferring. So, no.
Yeah. I had this set on 80 seconds, so don't let me forget. I'm not going to start talking about this because then I'll sublimate it for 80 seconds instead of 60.
Okay.
We don't want to do that.
Not throwing you off then.
But we will talk about that Condi spray because it's good stuff.
And Nikki's craft room said, did the spray not leave a residue? No.
It doesn't.
does
That's
not
the
at
coolest
all.
part.
It does not at all.
Ugh. Okay. She's crispy. Put that under there. Okay. Ooh. I'll do the big reveal
Now,
over
it
here.
does leave a residue on your fingers for a minute.
Yes, it's a wee bit sticky.
But the heat, it's like the heat evaporates everything. Did you just blow those off the table?
Yes. Hold on. I need these. Come back. Okay. All right. Big reveal time. Who's ready? I'm not. I'm nervous. I'm just kidding. Okay. Here we go. Ooh, she's crispy.
So crispy.
So crispy. Oh man, that looks good. That's a 10 out of 10. Okay. Now, so for this part, this is the sleeves part. You can do this on the left or the right sleeve, whichever one that you prefer. Just be conscious of where you are putting the heart. So let me just show you guys what I did, okay? I was in a hurry. And I didn't want to get the heat press. I didn't want to turn the heat press on because I had already had it on all day. And I was like, I'm just going to use the mini press. I'm just going to use a little, or it wasn't the mini press. It was the
easy press, like the 9x9.
Yeah, it was like the small one. Look at this. And I tried to fix it. So you can tell that I tried to fix it. I had pressed it on a seam. And then when I noticed that it messed up, I went and cut off the edge of the heart and tried to like butt it up and like repress it again. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to press anything on a seam or it's going to be, because what I had done is flattened it out like this. And so that seam was back here. And I thought that I had the hearts over to the left enough to where that seam would not get pressed. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't far enough over. So anyways, I repressed it on this side, right here. Okay, and it looked just fine. So what you're going to want to do whenever you press these, or place these, I should say. Let me move this one out of the way. You're going to want to press them kind of like here. And so it kind of sits on like this part of your arm so people can read it. It's really up to you all where you want to specifically place them. That's just where I think it looks the cutest. And then what we're going to do is just place them. And now you can kind of tilt them like back and forth if you want. And we're just going to add a little bit of tape. Okay, here we go.
They're reminding you to lint roll.
This is why I love you guys. Yes, make sure you're lint rolling everything. We even like lint roll tumblers and everything. You just want to make sure there's no residue.
Because there are things that, like small pieces of material that you would never think would be on something, but once sublimated, I don't know why, it just leaves a, I don't know, it leaves like a residue.
It exposes your sins.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna keep that bottom piece of butcher's and rip off a new piece. Okay, we're just gonna place this right here. I'm gonna kind of hold the sweatshirt so it doesn't fall. And we're gonna slide this new piece in. We're gonna press this for the same time, 60 seconds at 375. All right. There we go.
If you're Michelle said, I don't have a big heat press, I have the mini heat press. Can I still do this? If you're talking about the little tiny mini easy press, it's not going to cover up. First of all, it might get hot enough on the highest heat setting, but it's not a consistent.
It does get hot enough, but
it does get hot enough, but it's like it covers about this much area, and you have to hold a very, very firm pressure with no movement, constant for 60 seconds. So you take an area this large and you press that, you're going to get ghosting, you're going to get, it's just not, doesn't work the same with sublimation as the mini easy press is perfect for like HTV projects and so many other things. But sublimation is not one of those things that the mini easy press is good for.
I agree. And the keys to sublimation are pressure and heat. So you really want to be able to apply even, consistent pressure over the entire surface. Can y'all see that? Okay, so go ahead and pull these off. Ooh, so cute. I love this blue color. It's like my fave color. Oh, how cute. Okay, let's show the big reveal.
I love it.
Look how cute. And then it's got like the little sleeve. It's got the little sleeve. Y'all, this is the cutest. If you're trying to figure out a gift for somebody, this is it. This is the one. I love it.
If you do a lot of sublimating on the sleeve has become a very, very hot seller here in the last little bit.
Been seeing puff vinyl on sleeves, and like with words of affirmation like, you are capable, or you are you're strong, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they'll have like little puff vinyl or even like HTV on the sleeves. So cute. You can look on Etsy for inspo ideas. Okay.
That would be really cute with a little, like where the black is, if you put puff HTV on top of that.
It would. Oh, we should do that for a project. Sublimation with puff HTV. I've been trying to use puff HTV in everything. I'm like, what can we make with puff HTV?
I love the fact that Tanner used puff HTV for the first time, I guess about a year and a half ago. It was around Christmas time.
It was before I was here.
Yes, it was the Christmas before you started. Hated it. He hated it. And now we're like, puff everything.
Put it on, all the stuff. I even think that we talked about it and we were like, no, we don't like that. It doesn't work. And I was like, and then I don't know why we wanted to do it.
There have been a lot more, I feel like they have really
upgraded
tweaked the
formula.
Yeah, whatever.
I agree.
And it's a lot better than it was.
Yes. It's more user friendly, you know?
Yup. Well, I'm glad somebody else was thinking the same thing.
What?
They said about the puff HTV on top of that would be really cute.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
I just love it.
If anyone has any questions, right now would be a great time to ask your questions about this project. If you have any other questions, one thing that I do want to make sure that you all don't miss out on is Tanner is going to be hosting his 5 Secrets webinar coming up April the 22nd, 23rd, 25th, and 26th. 22nd is at noon Eastern. 23rd is at 8 p.m. Eastern. 25th is at 10 a.m. Eastern, and 26th is 1 p.m. Eastern.
I'm giving you a gold star for remembering that.
So you have 4 different days, 4 different times to choose from. He is putting so much work into this, y'all. And I'll just tell you, this is how much work he is putting into it and how dedicated and focused he is on making sure that this is proper, like this is perfect for you guys. We were supposed to have a staff training tomorrow, and he spent a lot of time like working on that. Well, he decided he needs to shift his focus and make sure that this webinar is perfect for you all that decide to take it. So he is now going to be focusing more on that, and he has moved our staff training.
He's been talking about it for weeks.
I know.
For weeks.
But that's how focused he is on bringing you all the absolute best, especially for those who are ready to start their crafting journey, ready to start selling, not start your crafting journey, start your selling of your crafts, to maybe make an income, make a side hustle, make some extra income, support your family, so many different things. This is a great start to that, is through this webinar.
Right.
So make sure you click that link, sign up. It's completely free. It does not cost you all anything to be there to watch. Very inspirational. Really motivational. Y'all, that's what we're here for. Inspiration, motivation, and education.
I love it.
Yeah.
And like even today's project, this is a great, especially with Mother's Day coming up, this is such a great little project that you all can put together and start selling. Like if you've been on the fence, I feel like this is a good little starter project. If you've already got sublimation supplies, you can go ahead and get started selling your crafts. And if you're like, I'm still unsure, this webinar is going to be that little push on the tush that you need, you know? It's going to get you jump started.
Yes, if you have the new Cricut AutoPress, that is just a regular, it's an AutoPress, but it's a press that would work for this if you have that. The link is the one with the heart eye emoji that says sign up now to learn the 5 secrets. If you click that link, it will redirect you to that page, and then you will be able to sign up that way.
Darlene asked, are there any sublimation trainings available to make larger projects if your printer is only up to 8.5 by 11? And yes.
We do have, I know there is one that is a bath mat.
Yes, we've got some on the channel for sure.
And honestly, we might need to work on maybe updating one and doing a new one, which may be something we can do in the future for you all. But yes, there are. If you'll give me a second, I will find it. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, we've done a bath mat, a blanket. Are there any within the sublimation course? Did you do any in the sublimation course?
Using
the small ones?
Tanner may have, I can't remember.
It's not as hard as you would think it would be.
It's not. So
there it is. Yeah.
There it is. It's titled Sublimation, and I can't drop the link because I'm not an admin on our channel. But if you search "Maker's Gonna Learn Sublimation Split Image Design for Beginners," that is one that I know that he did piece together. Multiple designs.
Yes, and it's very cute, and it's also an MGL file. I don't think it's a sublimation file, so you can.
It is an MGL file. The file that he used for that bath mat is an MGL file. The webinar is the same each day, but it's at different times so that different people can be present and be live for each webinar.
Beatrice says, what's a good sub paper to sub on dark clothing? So the type of sub paper that you use does not matter depending on the color of your fabric necessarily. I have seen some that are like they have printable vinyl. That's for like dark fabrics and light fabrics. When it comes to sublimation, it's just using the sublimation paper, like just using the A sub paper. It doesn't vary if you're using a black shirt or a white shirt. But we do recommend using lighter colors or heathered color fabrics and then bleaching after you've sublimated. We've got tutorials on the channel doing that.
Yes.
Because it's a little bit different of a process. The white is going to give you the best sublimation results. You can use colors, but they have to be specific types and things like that. So there are tutorials on our channel where if you're interested in doing colored sublimation, you can totally find that there. So.
So when you are thinking of sublimation, and I think this is where a lot of people maybe get tricked, like kind of tricked up, the ink when you print is the same. It doesn't change from what's on the paper to the medium that you are working with. So
Right.
if you have a black shirt, the ink is going to stay the same, and so you're not going to see it.
Right.
Or if you have, let's say, we're using color theory here. Let's say you have a yellow shirt and you're printing something with blue ink. What does yellow and blue mixed together give you?
It's going to give you green.
It's going to give you green, unless it is bleached out and on a white like background.
You have to think like that when it sublimates, it's kind of like a transparent image. So it's like see-through, and so that's why when you sublimate on white, it's going to give you the most vibrant look because it's just white. It's just reflecting all of those colors as brightly as it possibly can. The darker your color is, the more color that's going to get absorbed into the fabric, and so you're not going to be able to see it as nearly as good. So anyways, that's why I try to stick to white, but I know you're like, I don't want to have a white shirt every single time. You know, there's
Somebody
workarounds.
said that they get an error message when you sign up for the webinar. If you, for some reason, are getting an error message, make sure you email customer service, hi@makersgonnalearn.com. We will look into that and make sure that that link is working. But if you want to get signed up right now, they can sign you up for that webinar if you have any questions. But I can't I can't see I can't fix the error message if that's what you're getting right now. But make sure you email customer service, hi@makersgonnalearn.
Yes. Well, it doesn't look like we've got any more questions, but we will be back next Wednesday. I never check the craft before we get on the live, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could tell you guys what we're doing. Can you see it?
Next Wednesday, we are doing wedding favor DIYs.
Yes. I didn't realize that was coming up soon.
Ooh.
They're very, very cute. It's very cute.
Oh, is that your little...
Yes, we've got little honey jars.
pots.
We've got little honey pots. We're going to do some koozies, and then we're going to do little mints. And so these are like sellable crafts, but also if you're planning a wedding, like you should be there. You know what I'm saying? If you're helping, if you're doing a bridal shower, you should be there. So it's going to be really fun. But yeah, I guess we'll see y'all next Wednesday for that.
And once again, if you are getting that error message, make sure you email hi@makersgonnalearn.com and they will get you taken care of.
Yes. All right.
Sounds good. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.